I'm Shotzi Blackheart, the ballsy badass, and you are watching the Untitled Manny and Marcus Show. Remember to like the video and subscribe.
Hey! Oh, check out Marcus and Manny Show.
I hate you both right now. You guys are ridiculous. Previously on the Untitled Manny and Marcus Show.
I have a question. Name a name that you thought, based on these past 2 weeks of wrestling, who you thought would be on that list that wasn't. And don't say Keith Lee. Don't say Keith Lee.
I was thinking Keith Lee and it's just weird that he hasn't been around. Like there's no announcement that there's an injury or anything.
No. And Mia Yim said, mind your damn business. And Keith Lee was like, in time, you will all know. Because I'm about to start a sentence that will end all sentences.
Whoa, Levi. Come on now. I don't even know why. You can't just have a vague statement like that. You can't have a vague statement like that and just not go further into detail.
Yeah, you have to expunge on that one. You have inside information.
First of all, who's your source?
Yeah. Who did they keep it under wraps? Keith Lee is going to jail. And honestly, Levi, if Keith Lee goes to jail, I'm going to re-edit the show and say broken by Levi. Breaking news. Keith Lee is going to jail. You're the only person to put Keith Lee in jail.
The sharpshooters. Let's just say Keith Lee should know. Why do you think him is always repping Crips on national TV?
I feel like Levi has created his own episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
We got breaking news, Marcus.
Ooh!
We do have the email now.
Oh, there it is!
We will read this.
He's going to jail! You're going to jail, bitch!
We don't normally read emails on the Manny and Marcus show. but
when we do...
But this one seems like it's too good to be true. And it clearly isn't true. But I want to believe every word of it.
How dare you? How dare you? If we give Meltzer and WrestleBoats Manny the benefit of doubt of reporting story, I think Levi has the right to post whatever he wants as fact. Okay? As fact. Considering the state of American news and any news outlet in the world, I'm going to give this 100% fact, and I'm going to post it as is.
I believe Levi wrote this as if he was telling this firsthand, like he witnessed this completely himself. It is written like a news story.
He was there. Sources close to me. The sources was me. I saw the whole fucking thing. He killed that motherfucker outside that liquor store in 1994.
So, it starts off with the criminal history of one Keith Killer Lee. Killer spelled K-I-L-L-A.
Oh shit, he spells like we do on this show.
Earlier this week, I mentioned on a podcast about Mr. Lee getting ready for jail. I was then asked by an honourable host to expand on this. I got my information from an ex-LAPD officer.
You know it's back when the LAPD is bringing up shit.
Named Alonzo Harris, rest in peace.
Wait a minute, he's choosing to get up LAPD officer is choosing to go on record and say this. Yes, it was me. It was me, Austin, all along.
I believe this officer died in the process of telling him this story because he did say rest in peace. When he divulged this information, Harris didn't know how deep Keith Lee was in the game in the greater Los Angeles area. He soon found out how deep after a bad weekend in Vegas. He got set up by his rookie, who forced him to rob another cop, which then got his car shot by a Russian mob. Everyone believes that Alonzo's death was from the three wise men, actually were his bosses, but he was actually Keith Lee. It was actually Keith Lee behind this. I later corroborated with Harris' fine-ass Latin baby mama. I'm reading this like a pure Englishman. This is not coming out correctly. She also was working Lee behind Alonzo's back. Back on the topic about Mr. Killer. To best learn about the crimes of Mr. Lee, or Killer, as the streets call him.
Not a clever name at all. If I wanted to get away with not murdering somebody, and someone's like, "Hey, you know who there's a murder over here? You know who we should question? The guy that's calling himself the Killer."
We need to go into how the Killer was created. Marcus, this is paragraph 1.
Oh wow! Again, the story sounds familiar, but I will go to the end. Maybe it's because I'm from the LA area that this has resonated with me so much, but it sounds very familiar.
It should. Keith Killer Lee was born on November 8th, 1984, in South Central Los Angeles. His billed birthplace of Texas is a ruse because his real parents didn't want their friends' mothers coming after him. The real reason for this is because Keith's real father is legendary R&B singer Gerald Levert. His birth name is really Keith Levert. 2 things he took away from his father was his husky size and his panty-dropping singing vocals. Keith started off as a good kid who wanted to emulate his father's music. In 1991...
That's so great! He has penny-dropping powers!
In 1991, he entered the school's talent show at Crenshaw High. He performed Baby I'm Ready. Just like his father does, and caused a scene so good Keith had to drop out of school due to the older female teachers throwing panties at him. Although at this talent show, Lee had to drop out, he met 2 people that day that would change his life for good.
Meet Marcus. You may know him from the Untitled Manny and Marcus Show and the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. You may know he spent the majority of last summer living in his car, and now he's lost all his money in Vegas. Help Marcus by donating to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast or going to storefrontier.com/DSPN and buying some of our merch. Help today before it's too late.
The following commercial break, we are listening to a true Netflix documentary and crime drama.
Marion Suge Knight was an infamous record mogul of the early mid-90s. His Death Row Records was the biggest rap label, producing legendary albums that are amazing to this day. On that fateful day where Keith Lee sang...
That's opinion.
Where Keith Lee sang like his father, Suge was scouting for talent who could sing on artists. Dr. Dre's debut album, The Chronic. Keith Lee idolized Dr. Dre and was so ecstatic to lend vocals to that album. Keith was still riding high when he met the next person who would change his life.
What song is he on?
Anyway. A biracial OG gangster crip from Carson named Mia Yim. Oh my god.
Oh god. The Malaysian baddie.
Keith's dad, Gerald Levert, had warned him about messing with the gangbangers, but Keith was mesmerized when he hit that sea-walk on him. He had seen local gangsters do it, but Mia is half Asian, so it looked like the local nail salon tech doing it. Keith fell for her immediately and sang her a song his father made. It worked, and they began dating. One night, while on a date, Keith let Mia Yim know about his working on the Chronic album.
Can I pause for a minute and say these locations are 100% accurate? And me growing up, literally in the Carson area, I've heard of Super Crip Mia Yim.
So you're verifying Alonzo Harris, rest in peace's last will and statement of the true killer Keith Lee.
Yeah, I seen the movie about Alonzo Harris. That boy had a temper, cost him everything. got gunned down by a Russian mafia. Shit.
Mia asked if he had ever smoked the chronic. Keith had not, as he didn't do drinks or do drugs. She told him Dr. Dre would respect him more if he smoked some of her chronic for research. Keith agreed, but Mia was just a poor gangster with no money for the chronic.
And if you grew up where Mia grew up, you knew what kind of chronic she was smoking. It's that dirt weed that just fills up every high school bathroom. It's like, who is smoking this?
She did what any broke gangster would do. She laced the weed with Sherm. Keith smoked the drugs. Unfortunately, Sherm is a psychotic drug that makes people act crazy. It made Keith act wild as well. After Keith smoked with Mia, he went to the place where they were recording the chronic. When he arrived to the studio.
Oh, Mr. Reporter Man, who has a story. They went to the place that they recorded the chronic. No idea where they did that at. Just some place. Could be anywhere. I don't know.
So when
Malibu, for all I know.
When he arrived to the studio, no one was there. That's when the Sherm kicked in. He started feeling hot, which led him to getting completely naked. Oh, that is not a pretty sight.
Yeah, but if you're on Sherm, you're used to those guys. The other day on my way to work, to my car, there was a bum just pissing, just squatted and took a shit right next to my car. And I was like, oh, what the fuck?
After getting nude, Keith turned off the lights to surprise everyone. That is not a surprise anyone wants to see. Keith's label mate, singer Nate Dogg was the first person who walked in. When he turned on the light, Keith was as high as a kite at around 250 pounds at the time, jumps up and screams, "Come bask in my glory." Startled, Nate says to him, "Hold up. Hey." Startled, Keith then kicks Dog in the gut, hits him with a powerbomb and screamed, "Smoke weed every day." Nate didn't recover from the powerbomb. Keith left after taking out Nate.
Killing Nate Dogg.
Keith left after
Nate Dogg went out.
Keith left after taking out Nate Dogg. Suge Knight was furious. He got Keith back in the studio and asked him what happened. Keith told him the truth, fearful Suge was going to him what he did to Nate Dogg. When Keith confessed, rapper Snoop Doggy Dogg overheard him talking about Mia Yim. Snoop saved Keith from harm by stating that Mia is a gangster killer who hangs out with his little cousin Sasha. Should let Keith live based upon these conditions. 1. All Nate Dogg songs while they sing all Nate Dogg songs while they clone him. 2.
They clone Nate Dogg?
Yeah, apparently. And 2, leave the West Coast for good.
The science come into this. When Dr. Dre's talking about he's in a lab making songs, he's really in a lab making clones of people.
This is the first part of the criminal tales of Keith Lee. There's more.
Part 2. There's a part 2.
There's a part 2, which Levi will provide in the next few weeks.
All right. I can't wait. You're talking about the best A&E documentary. Fuck that. Give me Keith Lee in LA. Killing Keith Lee. And the scope of it all, that it went through all Death Row records. And Mia Yim is also implicated in multiple crimes in this way. This is a scoop. This is the scoop I've been waiting for.
I was wrong, Levi. You did provide the goods.
Facts.
However, We now need part 2.
Yep. I feel like this is gonna be like trapped in the closet, and we're just gonna get to one, and then it's gonna go to a larger conspiracy, and Levi will disappear in the middle of this conspiracy. Like, damn, we never got the end of this. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. I thought that when Keith Lee was high on Sherb and butt naked, and Nate Dogg came in, I thought he was gonna lay it on the busting down and let his gat explode, cause he was gonna regulate him. I thought we were going into regulators.
Well,
But
you know what?
Clone Nate Dogg. I like this pure science fiction came right out of nowhere, casually cloned into Nate Dogg was cloned. If we could clone Nate Dogg, I think everybody would have cloned him, and rap hip hop and rap today would be a much better place because they have somebody doing the hook.
I'm just stating this is an Untitled Manny and Marcus show exclusive.
Yeah, this is perfect for 100 episodes.
I think you're reading the second one.
Sure. And Manny, mine may take longer. You did an excellent job in going through it all in a timely manner. Mine will be dramatic reenactments.
Oh, that's almost even better.
I will read it just like Keith Lee.
That's even better.
And read it extremely in the best way, knowledgeable, as magnificent, as malevolent as this story could be. I will read it expeditiously in this fashion.
Oh my god, if he ends up in Devo's chicken coop.
No, the sheriff killed me because I was like, oh man, sheriff was so bad. Like, you think the crack was bad? Whenever you hear about a brother on Sherm, it's like, oh, he fucked up.
When I clip this, I want you to share the hell out of this with everyone you know.
Yeah, like, subscribe. It has to be shared. It has to be known. We have breaking news on the disappearance of Keith Lee, and apparently Keith Lee is going to jail. And apparently me and you too, because he's implicated in a lot of shit. He's never seen anybody crip walk like that before. Like, well, he was mesmerized.
The thing is, she gave him the show.
I like the locations because literally it's my childhood locations. I'm going like, Kaiser, Crenshaw High.
What I want at some point is that we get so big
local
that someone would go back and look at this clip and animate it. That's all I want. I want us to get as big enough that someone will animate this.
And if you here in the Sharpie Nation of the Untitled Manny and Marcus Show or the Sharpshooter Wrestling Podcast have your own biographies or criminologies of your favorite wrestler, please send it to the sharpshooters@gmail.com. That's DA sharpshooters@gmail.com.
We would greatly appreciate if we got more Marty Jannetty stories.
Yes. Tell us your Marty stories. Somehow I feel like Marty has missed out on the Keith Lee story. But then again, why would Marty be in the hood? But then again, why is Marty anywhere, and why are just people disappearing and Marty Jannetty involved in their disappearance? All right, we got to end the show because eventually somebody here got to go to sleep. And I'm going to have nightmares. Nightmares, I tell you, about Killer Keith Lee Levert.
Peace.
I'd like to thank Jesus Christ. Let's go.
I'm Shotzi Blackheart, the ballsy badass, and you are...
What, Shotzi?